Good morning and welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, November 6, 2017. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm Nick Millern. Here's what's happening now.
Police in Delmont say a man and woman robbed a Sunoco at gunpoint early Saturday morning. In the surveillance video released by police, you can see two masked assailants enter the store and point their guns at the clerk, who then gave the robbers money. Both the man and the woman are both believed to be between 20 and 30 years old. Anyone with information is encouraged to call the Pennsylvania State Police.
Multiple crews battled a fire in a house in Bellevue on Sunday afternoon. Heavy smoke was seen emerging from the house when emergency responders were spotted opening up the roof in an attempt to ventilate the premises. Police said a family of 6 lives in the home and 4 of them were home at the time of the fire, but thankfully everyone got out safely. Another large fire occurred the previous night in a Westmoreland County barn. Firefighters had to bring in a tanker truck to battle the flames. Luckily, all of the animals were reportedly out of the barn when the fire began, and no one was injured.
Everyone absolutely loves cats and dogs, and this weekend I traveled downtown to the Pittsburgh Pet Expo to get up close with thousands at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. Animal enthusiasts, puppy lovers, and their furry and feathered friends traveled to the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in downtown Pittsburgh for the 2017 Pittsburgh Pet Expo. The 2017 Pittsburgh Pet Expo, which featured over 200 exhibits, was at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in downtown Pittsburgh from Friday, November 3rd to Sunday, November 5th. The line to get into the convention center was well over 25 minutes long, and the 5,000 visitors that came this year helped make this Pet Expo the largest on the East Coast. In addition to vendors and a variety of other exhibitors, the Pet Expo featured the North American Diving Dogs Competition, a pet costume contest, the International Cat Association's World of Cats show, and the first leg of the World Champion Model Dog Competition Tour. Guests at the Pet Expo had the opportunity to bring their furry friends inside the convention center for photos with Santa and other treats. Pittsburgh Magazine hosted the Cutest Pet in Pittsburgh Award. Guests had the opportunity to take a picture with their pet for a chance to land on the cover of the Pittsburgh Magazine. After 3 days at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, the Pittsburgh Pet Expo came to a close on Sunday, November 5th. Reporting from the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in downtown Pittsburgh, Gage Golding and Buddy, RMU Century Media. You know, Nick, awesome that Buddy got to make his debut on RMU Live.
Yeah, there sure were some plenty of good dogs out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the body of a missing man was found Saturday while friends and family were searching in St. Clair Township. 45-year-old Scott Nooner was last seen on Friday, October 27th, and he was reported missing the following day. The body was found in a creek bed near 5th Street. The cause of the death has not yet been determined, but the coroner's office says there is no indication of trauma or foul play.
One victim in a car accident was ejected from their vehicle in an accident in Derry Township. The accident took place around 8 p.m. on Saturday near the intersection of Bergman Road and Route 217. Investigators have not yet released if speed, alcohol, or drugs were a factor in the accident. An 18-year-old woman was flown to Pittsburgh Hospital following a car crash in Washington County Sunday morning. Pennsylvania State Police say the accident happened around 11 a.m. on Interstate 70 in Somerset Township. Police say an infant that was in the woman's car was not injured, and both passengers in a second vehicle were unharmed. Both vehicles were towed from the scene.
2 boys were charged with killing 10 white-tailed deer illegally in Beaver County. The 2 boys were not identified by the Game Commission, but included a 10-year-old from Pennsylvania and a 17-year-old from Ohio. The 2 boys killed the 10 deer over the course of 2 nights using a high-caliber rifle. Each suspect has been charged with 4 misdemeanors and 6 felony counts for unlawful taking of big game. A woman was shot and killed in public housing community Briarwood Acres in Fayette County on Friday afternoon. The victim has been identified as 37-year-old Tasha Mae Walton, and the suspect has been identified as 31-year-old Antonio Lanco of Uniontown. Lanco was taken into custody and is being charged with criminal homicide.
The Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh is undergoing some major renovations. I visited the museum to get the latest. Carnegie Science Center here in downtown Pittsburgh has recently released a list of renovations they're performing on their building, as well as a small addition to their famous train exhibit. The Carnegie Science Center is the city of Pittsburgh's most visited museum, and now the museum is investing $45.9 million into a 48,000 square foot expansion. Expected to open in June of 2018, the fourth-floor addition will enable the center to expand and grow its children's programs related to STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math. To kickstart the campaign, PPG Industries donated $7.5 million, the largest single donation in the Carnegie Science Center's 36-year history. The museum will also unveil a new addition to the miniature railroad and village at the Carnegie Science Center on November 15th. The artists at the Science Center have been working hard to create a miniature Permane Brothers, which will be added to the exhibit. The exhibit is now closed for annual maintenance, but will reopen to the public on November 20th. The expansion to the Carnegie Science Center Museum is expected to open in June of 2018, but the Permane Brothers exhibit is expected to open later this month. Reporting outside the Carnegie Science Center in downtown Pittsburgh, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media. I'm extremely excited to see what this is going to look like. Always one of my favorite places to go in like middle school for a field trip.
Yeah, I was always a big fan of the planetarium that they got there. Really some cool stuff going on down there.
I think a lot of cool stuff coming for the Science Center.
Definitely.
800,000 Pennsylvania residents currently suffer from a lack of high-speed internet. The Federal Communication Commission plans to distribute $140 million in funding to help improve the state's internet connection to rural areas. Last year, Verizon declined to partake in this program, keeping many Pennsylvania residents in the dark. And for more updates and coverage around the Pittsburgh area and Robert Morris University, be sure to visit RMUCenturyMedia.com. Coming up on RMU Live, a deadly church shooting occurred in Texas yesterday.
And militants in Yemen sparked tension between foreign countries. Find out why coming up.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you! She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Want to help in the aftermath of a hurricane? Together, you and I can really help. I am fast and versatile. I can be whatever is needed. To help you provide important relief when it's most critical. If you want to lend a hand, I can help you reach out and truly touch lives. Even a small donation can make a big difference.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Tonight, along the Texas Gulf Coast, utter devastation. Harvey barreled ashore overnight, packing 130-mile-an-hour winds, blinding sheets of rain, and a treacherous storm surge.
Harvey can't mess with Texas. So donate now to help make Texas whole again.
Welcome back to RMU Live. A Texas Baptist church shooting has left at least 25 people dead in Sutherland Springs, Texas on Sunday. The gunman walked into the church and opened fire. He has been identified as 26-year-old Devin P. Kelly. The small town outside of San Antonio has a population of around 360 people, which means the preliminary death toll would amount to about 7% of the population. Our thoughts are with all the family and friends that were affected by this terrible event.
The former chairwoman for the Democratic National Committee, Donna Brazile, is creating buzz within the Democratic Party with the release of her new book. The memoir includes her thoughts of replacing Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential campaign. According to the book, Brazil considered the replacement after Clinton passed out at a 9/11 memorial ceremony in New York City.
A Russian lawyer met with Donald Trump Jr. after promising information that would incriminate Trump's election opponent, Hillary Clinton. The meeting, which occurred in June of 2016, which the New York Times uncovered that this summer, has drawn close scrutiny from investigations into whether Trump's campaign colluded with Russia last year.
Federal investigators report that they have enough evidence against Michael Flynn, President Donald Trump's former associate. The investigation led by Robert Mueller is looking into a possible collusion between Moscow and the Trump administration. Flynn was fired after just 24 days on the job. Earlier last week, Paul Manafort was brought in front of federal courts by Mueller's investigation.
Masked militants set off a large car bomb outside security headquarters in Yemen Sunday morning, killing at least 17 people before storming the compound. According to officials, the militants sparked combat that continued late into the night. U.S. President Donald Trump responded to the situation by blaming Iran, saying, quote, "A shot was just taken by Iran, in my opinion, at Saudi Arabia," end quote. Iran's Defense Minister General Amir Hatami has been denied his country's involvement in the incident. A slew of arrests were ordered by Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia over the weekend, including dozens of the nation's most influential figures, prime ministers, and top business tycoons. The move was seen as an attempt to thwart corruption amongst the nation.
One of Britain's most senior ministers, Damian Green, is denying extreme pornographic content on his computer in 2008. These allegations come in light of a sexual harassment scandal that rocked the British government. Former Metropolitan Police Assistant Commissioner Bob Quick alleged that the material was discovered on one of Green's parliamentary computers by police officers conducting an inquiry into the government leaks in 2008. Kentucky Republican House Speaker has resigned from his position after confirming that he settled a sexual harassment case with one of his staff members. Jeff Hoover denied sexually harassing the coworker, but did admit that he sent inappropriate text messages. Hoover's wife and daughters were present in the courtroom during his statement. Hoover did say that he will remain in legislator.
Catalonia's leader Carles Puigdemont and 4 former advisors turned themselves in to Belgian police, according to a prosecutor's spokesman. Mr. Puigdemont fled to Belgium following Madrid's imposed direct rule of Catalonia following an independence referendum. He said he will not return to Spain unless he is guaranteed a fair trial.
Police in Russia arrested more than 200 following a rally calling for a Russian revolution. The rally is in light of the nearing 100th anniversary of the Russian Revolution. According to authorities, many protesters arrived in the center of Moscow and milled around confused before being arrested by police.
And for all of you beautiful people out there, if you're interested in watching more RMU-TV, be sure to check out the whole show lineup throughout the week. And Gage, I don't know if you know this, but there may be a slight guest appearance from me next Thursday on Colonial Sports Center. So make sure you check that out.
You know, I'm excited for that. And when we come back, we take a look at how Pittsburgh Penguins fared this weekend.
And we head to Chief Weather Forecaster Morgan Nagel with hopefully some better news on the weather for this upcoming week. Stay tuned.
On November 3rd in Hopwood Auditorium, Robert Morris University, join me, Don Luisi, for Bringing the Blues to RMU. This is a live event featuring Pittsburgh's Queen of the Blues, Jill West, and Blues Attack. Along with a screening of Blues Chronicles from the Burgh, 3 short documentary profiles of Pittsburgh blues legends Eugene Morgan, Bill Weiner, and Jill West. This tribute to the blues is sponsored by the Blues Society of Western Pennsylvania, the Academic Media Center, and RMU Radio. That's Bringing the Blues to RMU. Friday, November 3rd at 5 p.m., Hopwood Auditorium, Robert Morris University. Admission is free to the public.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live. It was an interesting week in sports for sure as the Penguins wrapped up their trip on the road against the Vancouver Canucks on Saturday. The Canucks stormed to a 4-2 win over the Penguins with a hat trick from Brock Boeser. The Gwins got out to an early start with a power play goal by Jake Gensel just 3 minutes into the first period, but Vancouver would battle back to a 2-1 lead. Greg McKegg would then score his second goal of the game with an assist by everyone's new favorite player, Ryan Reeves. That tied the game up at 2. Just 2 minutes later, though, Brock Boeser completed the hat trick and put the game away. It is no secret the Pens have been struggling as of late, but head coach Mike Sullivan and company are not worried about the slow start to the season. Heading on to Robert Morris, the Colonial football team lost to the Wagner Seahawks 27-7 this weekend, moving their record to 2-7 on the season. Colonial's quarterback Matt Barr went 13 for 33 for 161 yards and a touchdown on the day, but was unfortunately sacked 8 times throughout the contest. Going around the NCAA, Penn State suffered a devastating 27-24 loss to Michigan State Spartans, pretty much killing their hopes of making the college football playoffs. The West Virginia Mountaineers beat Iowa State by a final score of 20-16, improving their record to 6-3 on the season. The Pittsburgh Steelers were on a bye week this week, but got a leg up on the competition as both the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals both suffered losses. The AFC North standings now have the Steelers sitting up top at 6-2. The Ravens now fall to 4-5, and the Bengals to 3-5. And the Cleveland Browns are still searching for their first win. That's all the time we have for sports. Morgan, it was a rough night last night with all that rain. Hopefully you got some better news for us this week.
Thank you, Nick. And as everyone saw this morning, the rain definitely wasn't as bad as it was last night, but it still was raining. But as the day went on, the rain became on and off, but we could still expect some tonight. The current degrees is 50 degrees with a high of 51, a low of 35, and scattered rain, of course. And as for it is outside, it's a typical fall day. Some clouds in the sky and rain on and off. And then as for tomorrow, we can be expecting the same typical temperatures of 47 degrees, a low of 34, and the humidity of 65 degrees. But as the week goes on, we can expect sunshine. I know, sunshine. But there is a high of 50 degrees, so make sure you grab your coats before you leave. But as the weekend goes on, we can expect rainfall, of course, going into next week. Over to you, Gage and Nick.
So yeah, Gage, we have some local elections coming up this weekend, so I want to make sure to tell everybody, or not this weekend, tomorrow, please go vote.
Absolutely, get out and vote. One thing that we didn't touch on this week, Steelers, they had a bye week. Where are they at next week?
I'm not sure, Gage, but hopefully they keep going on the big win streak that they've been going on here. Looks like they got everything in order for hopefully a great playoff run. So.
Absolutely, and one team that needs to turn it around, the Penguins, hopefully they can get back together for a third Stanley Cup championship. Looking forward to that coming up here soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And that's all we have for RMU Live today.
Be sure to check in next week for more news.